hot, man. Oh, man. And it's hot in here. Sweating. Just sitting here right now, drinking my water from Just the Basics Purified Water. I have a family, including myself. When I go out to buy things, I am very picky when it comes to water. So if I go to like McDonald's, if I go to like Burger King, I think, or pretty much any fast food chain, they typically don't have the water that I enjoy. So what I mean, and I sound so picky and I sound so privileged, and I've such a first world issue, but it's true and I'm not gonna lie about it. So if I go out to like McDonald's and I get water, I think they have Aquafina. Let me look that up real quick. McDonald's water. Dasani. Yeah, so McDonald's owns Dasani. So Dasani is a company. Not a company. It is a product of McDonald's that they sell, which is super ironic. Like, you can either go there and you get a water cup for free, or you can get their Dasani water, which is probably the same exact water, I would assume. If you guys know this, let me know. But I would assume it's the same exact water as Dasani water, except one's bottled, because there's no way that one company would have two different types of water. That wouldn't make sense from like a business standpoint. I don't think they would do that. But I don't like that water. I don't like Dasani. I don't like Aquafina. And it's so bad, it's up to the point, even when I'm like really thirsty, I won't drink Dasani. I won't drink Aquafina. It has a weird taste in it. Like, water's one of those things where it shouldn't have an odd taste. You know, like if you're drinking water and as you're drinking it, you get into it and you're like, this doesn't taste right. I don't think you should ever have to be concerned unless the water is polluted. Now, if the water's coming from like a plastic bottle, it should all kind of taste the same. And I understand that like some water companies want to put like electrolytes and certain minerals and nutrients in water. But that's so strange because like our body's not, like, we don't, the nutrients and minerals and all the vitamins and stuff that we get are not intended to be getting from water. They're intended to be accumulated through different sources of food. I mean, there's not other natural beverages that people drink. Now, in this country and many other countries, there's different things like this Diet Crush orange soda, this tea. Now, I think water is the base for everything. And then some tribes, and I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm just going to spitfire. Now, some tribes do switch it up. They put like tea in water, or they put like coffee beans in water, and that's been like something that they've learned over a long period of time. So back to what I was saying about like the water, it should taste different. Like, it should only taste different if there's something done to it, or the water itself is really polluted. And in that case, you shouldn't be drinking the water. But in most cases, if you're drinking very polluted water, you typically don't have much of a choice. I guess you're in a lower socioeconomic state. But yeah, so yeah, guys, welcome to the podcast. This is, I don't have a title for it. You guys see the title. I don't have one as I'm sitting here recording the podcast. But this is what we got. We're in my bedroom. We have a few pieces of equipment. The equipment we have is very, very nice. I can guarantee that. I did get some of the best equipment I could possibly find. Everything costs under $2,500. So if anybody's out there looking for a podcast, you can do it at an affordable, reasonable price. It's a long-term investment. Other than that, it's also just something that I find very interesting. I've been listening to podcasts for a number of years. I think since like 2012 or 2013 was my first podcast. Tim Ferriss, 4-Hour Workweek, which is not a book I have up here. I need to get that book. I haven't read it. I've done a lot of listening on his podcast. So it's always been something that I wanted to do. This is the half setup. I have a table right now being made. Working on it right now. It's just a lot going on, and it's like a stressor. This is bothering the hell out of me. I'm gonna put these down. They keep shaking. I'm gonna drink this. I am someone who I always have to have a beverage on me at all times. Usually it's something caffeinated. which is not the best thing in the world. I don't think caffeine's good up to a point. It's good if you have to take a shit or you gotta pee. It pushes that out of your body. It's a natural diuretic. But other than that, I think it's addictive. So I think a lot of people take it. It's weird. It's like, let me look it up. Caffeine is a drug that is. So throughout these podcasts, I'm going to keep my laptop here so I look things up. I'm going to keep my phone right here. It's psychoactive. That's the word I was looking for. Just so I can pull up different things, look at Twitter, and just have a more interactive conversation. Like I said, this will continue to get better. At least that is the goal of it. But as of right now, this is what we're working with. Got a new mic on its way. As you can tell, this is duct taped because we don't have the other mic that I ordered from Rode. It's still not even made yet. They still haven't even produced it yet. Which sucks. I don't know. But I made sure I got black duct tape so you guys can at least not see white the whole time or different color. So caffeine is a strange, so this is what it says on Wikipedia. It's the central nervous system stimulant of the methylalaxantine class. It is the world's most widely consumed psychoactive drug. Unlike many other psychoactive substances, it is legal and unregulated in all parts of the world. There are several known mechanisms of action to explain the effects of caffeine. It's a weird one, right? It's a weird drug because that's what it is. Because it is like it says here, it's legal. It's illegal in most parts of the world. It is unregulated, so anyone can take it. And there's been cases before where people buy it by like the bundles on I guess like Alibaba. You could buy it on Alibaba. You can buy it anywhere. I don't know if you can buy it in States anymore, but you can still buy it overseas. And they ship it right to your house, and it can kill you, and it will kill you. And it may not kill you directly, more or less like fentanyl, like heroin will if you take too much. But it will kill you, especially if you mix it with other drugs or other forms of whatever. It stimulates your heart, it gets your heart rate up, and it could put you in shock, and it could seriously damage you and make you pass away. But it's so legal, and it's like, why is this so legal? And it's so interesting because it's used for so many different products, whether it be, it's naturally occurring in chocolate. So, if you're going to make chocolate, you cannot not take the caffeine out. But it's in cocoa leaves, or cocoa beans. It's in coffee. It's in Red Bull. It's in Monster. It's in so many different things. It's in this soda I'm drinking right here. It's in cocoa beans, tea leaves, cola nuts, coffee, drinks, chocolate, like I said. And 60 plants, some fruit, some leaves and seeds, but it does increase your heart rate. And it's like, where does that gap end? And it's something that I've always thought about. Like, as much as I haven't really experienced with a lot of different drugs, pretty much anything actually, which I don't know if I should, because I have the way I function on the daily is almost borderline like extraterrestrial. Like I'm always really out there, and that's why I'm looking forward to this podcast. This is ramble and talk to you guys about anything. But it's damn. See, I forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah, I guess I find that I have a very obsessive personality, which is, I don't know if it's better or worse, but the addictive personality is not really there for me, at least as far as I know. And I've asked like family members about it. And so like on my mother's side, it's more there than on my father's side, at least as far as I know. But the openness of communication is probably higher on my mom's side than my father's side. So that could also be playing a role in it. But I've always been able to, like, I don't know the difference between addictive and obsessive, but this is my viewpoint, that if you're an obsessive personality, you have the ability to stop whatever it is when you realize that the cons and the negatives are outweighing the pros tremendously, or even just a little bit, and then I will pull my attention away and I will put it into something else where I think the pros are higher up and the cons are on the lower end. And where I think that if you have like an addictive personality, you don't like, that's not really there. Like the addictive personality is, there could be like very minimal pros and then a lot of cons. And you see a lot like with alcoholics, like there's so many good things going in their life before the alcohol, and then once the alcohol happens, the pros just slowly go down, whether it be like a family, whether it be like a marriage, whether it be like a job, whether it be like self-love or the way you feel about yourself or your self-esteem. And those like fade, and they start going into the negative route. But the addictive personality is in it almost for like, and I've had conversations with addicts before, and it's almost like an escape from reality. Like it escapes you, not even escape, but it elevates you out of this world that we live in, this simulation, if you want to call it that. But this daily quote unquote grind that we're on, it escapes you from that. And I think that ability to reach that state in a healthy manner, in a controlled manner, is not addictive. But if you have to be there all the time and it becomes a new norm, I think that's an issue. I mean, what the hell? I mean, what do I what do I know? Not much. I'm not educated on this, but that's kind of been my experience. Like, we all do things to elevate ourselves, and I think a lot of people do things to elevate themselves, but outside of themselves. And it's a rush. It's a very exciting feeling. It makes you feel like you're doing something more, but it also feels like you are, I don't know, almost like more powerful than you think you are ever able to be. And then it gets like into your head. I don't really, like, the world as itself as we know it has become a very strange place. I was watching, so where I work, there's a television above me, and then there's two televisions above me, one with Fox News, one with CNN. So like the Fox is typically more of a Republican, Republican, and then the CNN is more of like a Democrat TV, and it's so strange because when you're watching it, like, I don't know. I mean, I have viewpoints on each side of the parties, and my viewpoints aren't black and white. I vary on many things, but the things I do have viewpoints on, I think I have semi-concrete ideas about why I think they're true and why I think they're false. But I also am not ready to go to battle with words to get my viewpoint across. Sorry about that. That's just not what I do. I'll sit there and I'll just listen to other people talk. It's something I always love to do. But you're like sitting at work and you're watching these televisions, and it's so strange. Like, it's like two teams going at it, like blue versus red, and it's like the same storyline, but like two different viewpoints, which has always been a thing, but like never so opposite. And it's so strange to just watch. Like, I was talking to somebody at work yesterday, and I was talking about like this weird thing that we're in right now. And I don't know what it is. I actually just read a book on it called Homo Deus by Yuval Noah Harari. And the essence of the book is, we as humans have, I'm going to look it up. I don't want to be spitting out nonsense. How long have Homo sapiens been around? They just had a new discovery. The earliest fossils of anatomically modern humans are from the Middle Paleolithic, about 200,000 years ago, such as Oma remains of Ethiopia and the fossils of Herdos, sometimes classified as Homo sapiens. So Homo sapiens has been around for about 200,000 years. And let me look up how long has First of all, what's the oldest religion? What is the oldest monotheistic religion? Judaism is one of the oldest monotheistic religions in the world, although some scholars have argued that the earliest Israelites were monotheistic rather than monotheistic, pre-7th century BC. So that would be 2000 right now, 1900s, I don't know, what's that, 2000? Maybe 100 years? Is 100 years a century? Yeah. Yeah, 100 years, so 2000, so about 2,700 years old. I don't know how to spell Judaism. So Judaism is about 3,500 years old. So if that's like the oldest, and like I said, monotheistic religion, then obviously there's polytheistic, and then there's like nature religions where you look at, where you worship the wind, and you worship certain natural disasters, and you make sacrifices to gods because that's what gods need, and gods will protect your crops and whatnot. And it's like these religions have been around for an amount of time, and they've taught you there's certain rules that come with them. And those rules that come with them are rules that are usually good rules. Like the Ten Commandments are, most of them, I would say, if not all of them, are very, if you just follow those, like if you just took the whole Jesus and God thing out of it, and you just put these 10 commandments in front of you, and you showed it to a 4-year-old, and you raised the 4-year-old on those, most of them are very good. But over time, I think humans have realized that these conflicting religion ideas, these conflicting monotheistic viewpoints on the world, and your savior versus my savior, have caused damage in a way that has been very destructive for a lot of people and a lot of civilization. It's caused millions of people to die. It's caused young kids to be child molested, and it's caused a lot of pain, I think, in the world. And I think we're almost moving to a point now where like these ideas of politics and these ideas of different viewpoints on the government or human rights, which actually this book right up here, Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari, basically goes into human rights and how human rights are a completely made up thing. I'm not going to make a stance on it, but I do know it's very interesting, and I do recommend that book. He's an amazing artist. I think he's a Israel or an Egyptian historian by trade, or not. He's an Egyptian man, but he's an historian major by trade. Very intelligent man, very intellectually sound human being, and his books are so easy to read and they're so nice to read. But like the world kind of has been shifting into a place of me versus you, but like me versus you, and like what my person believes versus you. And it gets kind of scary sometimes. It gets kind of scary in the sense that you run into people and you speak to people who have viewpoints on things that are just not, the viewpoints are valid, but they're not strong. And there's a lot of left out facts, and there's a lot of things out on the table that are just true, and denying it leads to it can lead to a dangerous place. And I was telling this to somebody at work, and I was basically saying, like, these parties have almost become like the new religion. I mean, what is a political party? It is something that there's many different viewpoints that a collective number of people believe in, and they preach about them, whether it be through the sources of social media, whether it be through the prehistoric cable television, news outlets, podcasts, and there's usually one or two leaders at the top. There's one or two leaders who are out there screaming about their viewpoints, and then within the group you have like if you bring it back to the Catholic faith, because I was brought up Catholic, you have me. There's the standard Catholic kid going to Sunday school, every once in a while going to church, praying a few times a day, doing the rosary, and believing in God, and talking about Jesus. And then that's okay. But then, within the religion, you have the outliers. You have the people that are on the edge. The people who don't formulate ideas without even recognizing other ideas. Just an extreme, loud, almost obnoxious, scary, very intimidating viewpoint. But a viewpoint that's not built on truth and logical thinking. So then you just become reactive. And that's what usually leads to war. That's what historically has led to war. And before I get farther, I don't want to claim that I know anything more than you or I do. More than you, because I don't. But like I said, this is just all my opinion, what I've seen. And then within that group, you have your extremists who are battling within the group for power. It becomes a power struggle. Power is normal. People want power. But people also want to take power. That's very common. You see it out in nature all the time. You walk your dog to the park, and another dog comes up, and you can see within a second which one's gonna be submissive, which one starts getting humped, which one gets growled at, which one gets the butt smelled. When a dog gets anxious, fun fact, when a dog gets really anxious, they actually let off a perfume, smell from their anal glands that puffs up, and then it excretes a smell. And it's a level of anxiety, and it's fear, and it's usually the submissive dog. And I read this out of this book right up here, Behave by Robert Sapolsky, who's a behavior psychologist and a primatologist, someone who studies primates. I think he did it for like 35 years at the University of Stanford. And if you go on YouTube, they actually have his entire lecture up there. I think an entire semester at the University of Stanford, which is awesome. I think I'm on episode like 7, like behavior genetics or something. But dogs, when you see a dog like tuck their tail in, it's a mechanism to cover up the smell and hopefully to not be completely taken over by the other dog. Just a fun fact. And you see, like, you don't see it, I'm not a scientist, but rats do the same thing. Like rats or mice, the females actually have this ability to, if there's a female and it's pregnant and it's the same male that got it pregnant is there, if a new male comes in, the odor, it's crazy, but the odor of the other male will actually make the female abort the child. It literally cleans out his womb for the new mice. Just because infanticide is so common within mice that if that baby's born, it's going to be murdered and eaten by the mice. Maybe not eaten, but it will be murdered by the new male mice, because the male mice knows that that's not his. And so it's a power struggle. And you see it with coyotes. Like that's why it's so hard to kill coyotes. If you kill one coyote, it lets off this sound, and it literally forces the other females to go into a more hyperactive sexual state, so they can produce more offspring. And within the offsprings, there's more, I guess, puppies. But anyways, that's what I was trying to say. There's a power struggle, and that's a completely natural, instinctive reaction that people have. Especially if you step on my toes, I'm not going to step back on your toes. I'm going to knock you out. And I think you're seeing that a lot now. And you're seeing the level of intelligence go down. Everything's catchphrasey. I mean, even the colors themselves. And that breaking news is always super bright and aggressive. And it's very interesting to be someone my age. I'm 22 years old, and I don't participate in political conversations. I don't really partake in a lot of religious conversations. I don't really partake in a lot of socially acceptable and political correctness viewpoints. I usually don't. I do if people ask me, but I know when to stop when I can see that somebody is getting uncomfortable. But I also think that it could be very good if the world all like I had this idea that what if we all just woke up in the morning and it became a law that you had to sit down in your bed wherever you woke up for an hour. You need to jot down your thoughts. So before you get up and you go out and you're influenced by the world, at least for that particular day, you have to literally just sit there and you have to listen to the world. I mean, you gotta listen to your own thoughts. Shit's scary. It's really scary. Your brain's a scary place. Sometimes things come up in your head and you almost want to deny them, and you don't want to listen to them. You don't want to even appreciate them. You don't want to know that they're there. You get dark thoughts. People get dark thoughts. That's a completely normal thing. People get happy thoughts. People get confusing thoughts. People get half-baked thoughts. Thoughts that come out and they just weren't complete. And I always do that before I conversate with someone. I always tell them I'm going to have thoughts that come out to my head and come out of my mouth. And that wasn't my intention. And I think that's very important. I think it's very important for people to recognize that and understand that that happens. And also you got to understand that it makes it easier if you can look at everybody and realize that everybody is a product of their upbringing, and everybody's a product of their genetic makeup. And people where they are currently, I don't care if you're 10, 20, 30, 40, 100 years old, 60, 70, 80, 90, whatever your age, 60, 50, where you are, where someone is, you got to recognize that they are there due to an accumulation of many, many different triggers in their life. So when people express their opinions and express their thoughts, it's not always out of hatred. It's not always out of hatred. And sometimes, even if it is out of hatred, some people are very sociopathic and narcissistic, and it doesn't affect them. So you got to be careful with that too. You got to be careful with letting other people really control your day. And if you have a strong base of thoughts, you become a lot more confident. You become a lot more conscious of yourself. You become a lot more pleasurable to be around when it comes to other people. The ability to say no, the ability to say I don't know, the ability to just stop talking and listen to somebody is super impressive. And that's one thing it's very impressive, but it's also very courageous. It's also very empowering for people. If you take somebody who has very low self-esteem and somebody who may have a lot going to them, but you have to kind of open the gap a little bit to show them how much they actually have going on in life, you become a very powerful person, but not in a corrupt way. Especially if you find power and you become confident off your own, that shit is, you can't beat that. That's the best level. It really is. That's the best level to find self-love. I think it's really important to do that. I've been going to therapy for, 5 months now. And I went into therapy because my girlfriend and I were going through rocky stages, and that's neither here or there, but I was so negative about myself. I was so negative about myself because I wasn't confident about myself. And I didn't really see an outlet for me. I didn't really see what I was good at, what I was bad at, what I could achieve. So I became very stagnant. And I became very afraid to line up as a standard human. And I didn't want other people to look at me the same way that they looked at everybody else. I wanted to be special in a way. So that led me to do just impulsive things like drop out of school without ever dropping a class. And then work in a job that I liked it at times, but other times I knew it just wasn't right for my mental state. Late hours, long days, responsibility that I just wasn't prepared for. But I didn't love myself. I didn't find anything in myself that was valuable. So I just kept on digging a hole. And I kept on pushing away people that meant a lot to me. And I had this idea that I literally told my girlfriend many times, like, I just don't trust anybody. Like, I used to have this thought where the first time I met you, I didn't like you. Not that I didn't like you because you said something wrong to me, but I just didn't like you because I didn't want to give you a fucking chance. And I think that's so common. I really do. I think that's so common. And I think, and this is what's cool about it. is if you're in a state, if you're somewhere right now, especially for the guys out there listening to this podcast, I think it's really important to talk to the people close to you and get honest responses and listen to them when you ask them. You gotta ask them, what's the flaw about me? What have I messed up on? When did I make you sad? When did I hurt your feelings? When did I make you cry? When did I make you angry? When did I make you smile? When did I make you happy? When did I make you feel pain? When did you regret me? When did you possibly even resent me? When did you wish I wasn't here? And you need honest responses from these people. And it hurts. It hurts. I spent a lot of nights crying. I spent a lot of nights in pain because I didn't want to believe what was true. But what was true was right there in front of me. The facts were there. And I think a lot of people just continue into this world every day without having a stable boundary about who they are, like on the inside. I mean, how can you develop a friend group? How can you find a job? How can you graduate college? How can you grow up to be a loving father, a loving mother, a good husband, a good wife, a good grandfather, grandmother? How can you do any of this if your building, your structure is unstable and it's built off false realities that you have for yourself? Self-reflecting and self-love is the most important thing. It's the most important thing. And I just watch these television shows and I don't see any of that. I don't see this I don't see it in the world. I don't know what happened. I don't know when it became weak to be sensitive. I don't know when it became I don't know when men became so-called women for crying, for being emotional. It gets to a point where you look around and there's people still there. But these people, if you could formulate the best representation of yourself, will that person next to you be there? What happened? Take a second. All the people that are not there in your life, where are they? Are they happy? Are they good people? Not everyone that's quote unquote did you wrong or quote unquote hurt you is at fault for that 100%. And you can say 5% my fault, 10% my fault. You can say that 100 times because it makes you feel fucking good, doesn't it? It makes you feel good to know that somebody else was at fault. It makes you feel good that someone might have cheated on you. And you can say, oh, it wasn't my fault. It makes you good to know that you got fired even though you may have not done what you did. But most of the time people are rational. Most of the time people have reasons, valid reasons for what they say and what they do. And I think the best way to develop yourself into not a well-rounded, because there's nothing, you don't have to be well-rounded. You can be good at one thing. And you can do well with that. It's another bullshit lie. You can be great at one thing as long as you do one thing really well. Because the ability to be great at one thing means you became great at it, which means you have the ability to become great at anything. I mean, LeBron James, great at basketball, great at business, great at social speaking, great at being someone to look up to. May have just been a great basketball player first. Can't teach greatness. But the most vulnerable time you gotta be in your life every day is the day where you're with yourself. I truly believe that. And you can sound like, because no one's gonna do it for you. No one's gonna do it for you. I think you really have to sit there with your thoughts and you gotta write shit down and understand and look at your past, your history. People come and go. It becomes like when you're in the middle of a city and you're just about to get in the city and it's just like a bunch of roads crossing and you're like, what the fuck? None of this makes sense. But it all makes sense once you get in like a plane or helicopter and you look down at it. But if you're in the middle of it, none of it makes sense. And I think when you wake up and you go to this job and you go to this gym, you go to this school, there's roads and there's the environment and the airplane, the noise and people talking and your mind thinking. You never have time to really look at the highway and understand where the roads lead. Where did this thought lead? Where did that thought go? Where did that thought go? Who was I at 10? I don't recognize my 15-year-old self. Who was I when I was 19? Why did this person leave me? Why did this person hurt me? Why does this person love me so much? Why does this person like me so much? Why does that person not talk to me anymore? What happened? I mean, you can only say it's their fault for so long until you start hating yourself. And you're married to hate yourself. And weakness is not an attractive personality trait. That's my spiel. I don't know where I was going with that. We're going to put before a few of these news things for Twitter. I don't go through all these because I don't like them. Some of them I just don't get down with. They're a little strange. Like the political stuff, I just, whatever. Just like, meh. El Chapo is sentenced to life in prison by U.S. court. Okay. Yeah, it's like cool. Like, I get it. El Chapo's arrested again. He's going to court. But, it's like, dude got out many, many times. It's like, I don't know how many times he actually escaped, but I know he escaped one too many times. Like, he escaped one too many times to make me go like, yeah, he's in jail. Again. I don't know. He was convicted in February of crimes including trafficking cocaine, heroin, and other drugs in the United States. Fucked up, El Chapo. State of Mexico. Or wherever you're dealing. Americans got you. Nope, don't care about that. 3 Turkish diplomats killed in a restaurant. That's cool. Bachelor creator Microfish accused of attacking his pregnant wife. Bachelor's a weird one, right? I always wonder, like, what if The Bachelor, instead of... Actually, I think they do have, like, The Bachelorette. But that's a weird one, right? Like, it's strange. But it's kind of funny, too. Like, you see it in Wild all the time. I was watching this video of it's an Instagram page called Nature is Metal. And it's really interesting. It's like a bunch of ducks are raping this female duck. Now, rape is a serious thing. But in nature, is it a serious thing? I don't know. I'm not a duck. I'm not a duck. But I do know that female ducks have the ability to... Apparently they have like multiple vaginas. About like one vagina and multiple holes. And they have like a hook where like if they're getting like attacked by a bunch of male ducks, because like the skew of ducks is so much more male dominant than female dominant. There's so many more males. So there's like so many less opportunities to procreate. They have like a hook inside of them. I think that's what it was. Yeah, they have a hook in the real vagina, so they only have one kid. I don't know, something like that. But anyways, I gotta look it up again. It's really interesting, I think. But like, so The Bachelorette, it's not like rape at all. Not like that at all. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that it's strange that it's like if you're a good-looking person. Imagine if they did a Bachelor with like a really, really just somebody who wasn't like symmetrical and just wasn't like the prettiest person around. I don't know if it wouldn't do as good. And is that offensive? But it's not offensive because it's a good looking person. But if it was an ugly person, I don't know. I don't think the views would be as good. It's a weird one, right, man? It's a strange one. I think they might have blocked it. I gotta turn it down. Oh no. It's a little squirrel attacking a rabbit. Weasels are great hunters. They have an incredibly fast metabolism, so they have to kill and eat almost half their body weight every day. They have been documented killing off prey up to 10 times their size. Weasels are great hunters. They have incredibly fast metabolisms. Holy shit, I'm watching this weasel just take out a bunny. Almost. I don't think he killed it all the way. Ugh, hawks are deadly, man. That's deadly, that's deadly. Yeah, dude, fuck those people who go to safaris and, like, have elephants chase them, or like look at elephants. Like I'm not looking at an elephant, dude. I mean, I would from a distance, but not up close. What is that? It's a zebra. Oh, here we go. All right. Ducks are not nice. In fact, they are pretty awful when it comes to mating. Because most duck species skew male, male ducks throw natural selection out the window and use their corkscrew penis like a weapon, forcing themselves, often in groups, onto female ducks. To combat this, female ducks have evolved a reproductive strategy of their own. Their vagina is like a cave with many tunnels, but only one true path to fertilization, and they can choose which path the male can access. Basically, male ducks are such prolific blank rapists, I'm not going to say that word, makes me just cringe, that the female ducks have a vagina like a corkscrew maze, full of dead ends and false passages to combat the constant forceful population. And like female hyenas have a, let me look this up. Female hyena penis. So they have a pseudopenis, which is a structure found on an animal that, while superficially appearing to be a penis, is derived from a different developmental path. So it's just basically a fake penis. So imagine that. Like, because we live in a very patriarchal society when it comes to like sexual reproduction. Like, obviously, because only guys can produce a woman in labor. Actually, I think let me look this up. I think, can you make a baby from 2 eggs? Actually, I think, hey guys, throw your penises out, you don't need them anymore. Alright, here we go. This is from Neolife. Get ready for same-sex reproduction. Jesus Christ. These pop-ups are going to drive me insane. Alright, when artificial sperm and eggs become reality, the sex of your baby-making partner won't matter. Renita, Mona's 1-year-old daughter, is just beginning to talk. She calls her mommy, her mama. Frequently, in every story, I don't have any role. Blah, blah. The gay marriage movement was in full swing. 2013, blah, 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 blah. Cool. The family's fertility doctor used in vitro fertilization to conceive an embryo. In addition, implanted it into Morena's uterus, making her into her daughter's gestational carrier. Even as a social stigma on gay parenting lessons, the Williams... Okay, here we go. A developing technology known as IVG, short for in vitro gametogenesis, could make it possible for same-sex couples to conceive a baby out of their own genetic material and no one else's. They do this by having cells in their own bodies turn into sperm or egg cells. The science of IVG has been underway in the last 20 years, but it really took off with research that would later win a Nobel Prize for a Japanese scientist named Shinya Yamanaka. In 2006, he found a way to turn any cell in the human body, even easy-to-harvest ones like skin and blood cells, into cells known as induced pluripotent stem cells, iPS cells, which can be reprogrammed to become any cells in the body until that breakthrough scientists working in the regenerative medicine had used more limited and controversial stem cells derived from frozen human embryos. There was a small international group of scientists racing to reprogram human iPS cells into sperm and egg cells. So, basically, the reason I said that was saying that soon, all guys out there, you may not even need your penises anymore, and we can just take cells and make cells, which I think once that comes around, I think once we start like taking embryos or egg cells from women and we're turning them into sperm cells, like I don't know if that's human anymore. I don't know what that is, but to me that seems very like robotic in a sense. Like I don't think that's human. Like the way you produce offspring in pretty much all species, some of them are different, but is you insert a penis into a vagina and the sperm fertilizes the egg, and if it makes it, it makes it. And then the gestation period is different for all animals. What if you don't have to do that anymore? So what if like the males, okay, so what if the human population slowly, because let's face it, I think a lot of a lot of relationships, heterosexual relationships, males, females, females, males. And I think that's what heterosexual means. I'm pretty sure that's what it means. I don't want to make anybody angry. But some of them, most of them, could work out really well. They could work out really well. But sometimes they don't work out. They don't work out because females and males, biologically, have different, not interest, I don't want to say interest, but they have different biological makeups that make them do different things and say different things. And sometimes they just don't mix well. So what if all females could just produce offspring and then choose what they want it to be? All males would probably eventually go extinct. Now, the only way it wouldn't happen, and listen, like, if you have a child, so if let's say 300 years from now, it's 2320, let's just say. And everybody's making kids from cells, and I mean, I guess you can make 2 sperm cells, but let's just keep it fun for right now and just say 2 egg cells. And you take 2 egg cells, and you produce one of your sperm, you have a kid. And at this point, you can choose your sex. Like, that's going to happen. That's already happening in some places across the world. People are already choosing, like, if they don't want their kid to have certain genetic disorders. Like, if you're really wealthy, you can, like, choose what you want your kid to have, what you want your kid not to have, and stuff like that. And I think it's interesting. Because what does that do? That bottlenecks human civilization. Like, that literally will get rid of, that could eventually kill, god damn it, all these pop-ups, man. That could just end the human race. But then if you have these guys who are being born, these 2 females choose to have a male, then they don't have any males around them. They're just growing up with females. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think there would be an empty gap because you have a lot of males, like, one of the main reasons to be a human is to pass on your genetics. But if you're a male, I mean, could you imagine? I couldn't imagine if I was 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 years old and I started, like, paying attention to females and I started going through puberty and I was, attracted to opposite sex, and then I found out I couldn't have a kid. That would make me very depressed and make me very sad. Or I could have a kid, but I don't know. I don't know where I'm really going with that. Anyways, that's just really fascinating. Anyways, female hyenas do have fake penises, and female ducks have developed an ability to, they say, you're going to rape me, but I'm going to choose which one I have a child with. Which is cool, I think. I don't know. What do I know? FIFA World Cup 2022 Asian qualifiers draw release. What? We just had the last one. Asian qualifiers draw release. How many? It's a lot of Asian countries. Are all these Asian countries? I think so. Maybe. I had no idea, like, North Korea's in it. Dude, flags are so strange. Some of these flags are so crazy. Like, I'm looking at the Sri Lanka flag. It's got like a it's got a lion flag. So it's got a lion on it holding like a sword with like a green and yellow. It's like so complex. It doesn't look like a flag. That's so strange. Our flag is the United States flag is so like different. It's just got a bunch of stars. Like Australia has it, and then, like, there's so many different like flags that look so similar. Like, have you ever looked at the Malaysian flag? Their flag looks just like our flag. But countries are so strange. Do you guys ever think about countries? I'm not always, but it's been kind of a pick lately of mine. Like, I've really been thinking long and hard about what a country is. Like, what is a country? Someone, like, most of these lines, like, no one's out there like drawing paths in the sand, dirt, mountain, water, whatever it is, saying this is my land, this is your land. You cross this land and you are homosexual, you are stoned, we're gonna kill you. And like so it's like some Middle Eastern countries. Let me just, so I don't completely lie. Countries where homosexuality, marriage is illegal. I want illegal. Same-sex marriage, global comparison. Same-sex marriage has been legalized in only 27 countries? What the fuck? A lot of it has to do with religion too, right? A lot of religion is... A lot of religion doesn't allow for same-sex because you gotta produce an offspring. That's the A. Right? Religion would go too if you didn't have to need a females or male. Right? You wouldn't need that. Alright, Middle East. Okay, here we go. Same-sex, and I'm getting this from Same-Sex Marriage Global Comparisons. I think that's the name of it. So, okay, same-sex relations are illegal in much of the region and are punishable by death in Iran, Saudi Arabia, and Yemen. In 2018, Lebanese courts set a potential precedent for decriminalization. Israel recognized that same-sex marriage is performed in other countries, and same-sex couples enjoy civil benefits, including residency permits for the partners of Israel. So you need a freaking permit to live with someone your same age, or your same sex. That's nuts, dude. That is so nuts. We have, like, flying birds that we all get on across the world. We have, like, boats that you can just travel water. We have, like, phones that I could text anybody. But you can't even marry, like, the same sex in some countries. That is insane if you think about that. That's nuts. That's so crazy. South Africa is the only sub-Saharan Africa where same-sex couples can marry. Mauritania is punishable by death, Sudan, as well as parts of Nigeria and Somalia. Somalia, there was a pirate attack, I think just recently, in Somalia. Dude, pirates are brutal, man. That's not too recent. Maybe I just made that up. Yeah, I probably made that up. Yeah, whatever. Whatever. Yeah, I mean, a lot of Asian countries. So crazy that, like, same-sex marriage is still illegal in so many places. Whatever. Wildlife team saves a baby rhino from drowning in floodwaters. Oh. Rhinos are savages, man. Dude, I love them. We don't want them to go extinct. Humans suck. Well, great, but we kill so many things, dude. And we don't... The worst part is like, we don't even realize how... Like, the things that we're best at killing at, and that we're good at, like, killing in masses, like, knowing that we're killing them, is other humans. It's so sad. Like, a lot of things that we kill, we don't even realize it until they're gone. Or until, like, they're close to extinction. We just don't even think about it. God, man. That old app. Have you guys seen that old app going around on Instagram? It might be on Twitter, but with the remerge is a face app, a filter that allows users to see how they looked and retirement inspires some skepticism. Okay, so apparently there's blowback for it. Dude, just... You guys hear that? It's my dog. I love when my dog barks. Especially when I'm doing a podcast. It's going to make it really fun in the future. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's strange. I was thinking about this, like... So it took... I had this strange theory that like in like 15 years, do you think... Okay, so I just read this book called Homo Deus, and basically it's saying that the separation, so like the main issue with like human civilization is not going to be that we all kill each other, but that we all like neglect each other. And what I mean by that is like if you have a lot of money, you can keep making money. I was talking about this yesterday at work with one of the gentlemen I work with. Like if you're in the stock market and you have a lot of money, if you're like Warren Buffett, you can put money into a business, and as long as the business like doesn't completely go under, it's gonna dip a little bit in the stock, and it's gonna come up eventually. But if you have so much money where like even when it dips, you don't worry about it. Like you're not worried about the dip because you know it's gonna come back up. The average person who has an average amount of money in the stock market and has a lot, relatively financially free, they're gonna freak out. They're gonna take the money out, and then they're not gonna lose money, but they're not gonna gain money when it goes back up. But the stock market will eventually come back up. The stock will eventually come back up, and you eventually will make money again, right? You eventually will make money again. As long as the company doesn't completely go under, you're gonna eventually make money again. So if you have like a lot of money, and this is basically what the book is saying, that, and I'm making this part up in my head, but I will relate it to the book. Once again, Homo Deus by Yuval Noah Harari. I highly recommend it. It's an amazing book. You will thoroughly enjoy it, I promise. But if you have a lot of money, you can keep your money in there. You could even buy more stocks. And then when the company does come back up, like when Elon Musk went on Joe Rogan and smoked marijuana, which was illegal, by the way, the stock market went under a little bit. Sorry, but that was a burp. And I apologize, and I'm sorry, and I will try not to do it again, but I am drinking a very high caffeinated drink. And it's something that has a lot of bubbles, as we used to all say as children. And I'm drinking a lot of water, which I know I shouldn't. It's very disturbing for a podcast, but I need to drink a lot of water. It's finally cooling off in here. But if you have a high amount of money just at your dispense, you can just keep your money in there, and then when it comes back, when the outrage and the outcry and the panic settles down and people start getting confidence again in the company, people start buying stocks again, and the stock market goes back up, the person who never took the money out is going to capitalize on the investment, especially if they bought more stocks. So that's what the book is saying, that if you are poor, and like at this, there's almost two species of humans already in this world. And I try to explain this to people, and it's really hard to wrap your head around. And my head's still not wrapped around it, so I guess when I explain it, it's like an idiot trying to explain something. You have a gentleman in Manhattan who wakes up every day, works 9 to 5, or let's just say not even 9 to 5. They're a very high hedge. Let's look this up. I'm looking up top hedge fund in New York City. I'm looking up Bridgewater Associates. CEO. Ray Dalio. That guy looks terrifying. He looks like a guy that's like, oh yeah, he could take more money when he wants to. Okay, so we have Ray Dalio, who's a philanthropist. I don't even know what a philanthropist is. I don't know what that means. Means a love of humanity. What? A conventional modern definition is private. A person who seeks to promote the welfare of others, especially by the generous donation of money to good causes. That's strange. So, a philanthropist is so basically it's anybody. You give money. If you give money to anything, it makes you a philanthropist. And if you trust the money's going to go to a good place. Anyways, you take Ray Dalio. Who is a 69-year-old man. He was born in Jackson Heights, New York. Currently lives in New York, I would assume. He went to Long Island University, went to Harvard University, LIU Post, and Harvard Business School. He has one child, and he's worth $18.4 billion. $18.4 billion. He works with money. He's an investor. He's a hedge fund manager, and he's a philanthropist. Whatever that means. He's a founder investment from Bridgewater Associates, one of the world's largest hedge funds. Bloomberg ranked him as the world's 58th wealthiest person in June 2019. Okay, you take this gentleman. Has so much money, doesn't even know what to do with it. He has, I think like Apple has $250 billion worth of working money right now, divided by 18.4. So he has 14%. His net worth is 14% of what the total cash is sitting in Apple, which is one of the most successful companies to ever be around. By far, you wouldn't argue that. They have everything. They have their own software, their own hardware, their own products. They have their own everything. They do whatever they want. They have their own insurance. They have their own headphones. They do whatever the hell they want. Their own TV, their own TV network, their own TV music. They do everything. You take this gentleman, just a 69 white Caucasian male, born in New York, raised in New York, probably done a few lines of cocaine in life. I don't know. Maybe not. Who knows? Maybe I shouldn't say that about this guy. But Ray Dalio. And then you take a plane to the most remote tribe in the world. The Sentinelese people. Are also known as the Sentinela or the North Sentinel Islanders, are indigenous people who inhabit North Sentinel Island, the Bay of Bengal, and India. They are considered one of the world's last uncontacted people. These, oh my... These are the same people who, when that dude came over to, I guess, try to make these people Catholic with his Bible, they shot him and killed him. You remember what happened? I think like 2 years ago now, maybe 3 years ago now. These people had bow and arrows, and they are not contacted on their own little island. I think they're protected by the Indian government. But you don't mess with these people, and they don't interact with humans. I think there's only like 40 or 45 of them left. And like there's, if you just look up Sentinelese, Sentinelese, and you just look these people up, you can see them, and they just are very primitive people. They hunt, they gather. I don't think they even have agriculture. Like, they don't have crops. They don't grow crops. That's a newer thing. I'm not going to talk about that right now. Maybe later. But, so you have these Sentinelese people. And I keep looking at my phone because they do have somewhat of a time thing I do have to be on. I got therapy at 2:30. But, yeah. So you have these North Sentinelese people, and they don't interact with humans. They don't know what money is. Like, they do, but they have their own form of money. They have their own barter of exchange. I would assume they exchange something for something on their island, but they don't use it by the source of dollars. Like, they don't give money to each other. So like if $18.9 billion seems like a lot of money to me, but to them it means absolutely nothing. It means nothing. If I went up to a dog, or if I went up to if I went up to a fish, if I went up to a monkey, and I told them to... I'm trying to think of something. Okay. Let me think. Okay, I go up to a shark, and I tell them to climb up the tree. They wouldn't be able to do it. They would look at me like I'm absolutely crazy. Like, what are you talking about? That's not my species. I don't do that. Like, that's a squirrel. Let a squirrel run up the tree. That's what squirrels do. I am a shark, and I kill things that come in my water. Like dumb humans, I think it's cool to swim in my water, and then they get pissed off at me when I bite their leg off. They make movies about me. You take these people, they don't know what $18.9 billion is, but they're humans. These are Homo sapiens. They're just like you and me biologically. But if they got the common cold, it would wipe out their entire race. If I gave them money, they would freak the fuck out and probably kill me. If they saw me, they would not like me. Why is this man covered up? What are you doing? Why are you covering up your private parts? You're weird. It's part of your skin. Why don't you cover up your nose? Right? I mean, that's true. Like, why do we cover up our private parts? That's a weird one. I've talked to my girlfriend about that. I'm like, why do people cover up the body parts? It's like, you don't want someone to see you naked, right? And I think that a lot of that has to do with the way that culture has formed around clothing, like, you have to cover yourself up, because if you don't, and once again, it doesn't come down to a religious thing, I don't know, but it seems like it, because by being covered up, okay, so it's weird, because it's skin, that's all it is, skin. Everybody has, all females, not hermaphrodites, but all females have a vagina. All males have a penis if they do it through sex change or whatever happens. All females have breast, not all, but most, I think. And all guys have a naturally more muscular build tool. We all know that to be fact. That's a fact. But we cover it up. And it's like you don't want to, it's weird. It's like you want to cover it up because you don't want to be conceited. And if you're too much in shape, you don't want to wear too tight clothes because you don't want to let people know that you're in tight clothes. You want to because you look good, but it comes off as rude. And we're like covering up something that we all know, like we all know what's under there. We all know. Like, it's super obvious. And it's like, if you don't want people to know, like if you want to build up like that anticipation for the opposite sex, you like show just enough of it. Like, you ever see like when women wear like show a lot of cleavage? It's like, so for me, I sit there and I'm like a spy. I'm like, what? Not a spy, but I'm like investigating. I'm like, not like in a weird creepy way, but I'm like, what are you doing? What are you showing? Yes, there's a breast. I get it. I understand. This is what's going on. You're a female. And for guys, I'm like, hey man, pull your shorts up. I don't want to see your dick root. Your shirt is very tight. So we like cover it up, and like if we're trying to like I guess like seduce the opposite sex, but like not do it. Or like even like the worst is when you like seduce like your own sex. Like when females are like, girl, you look so good, and when guys are like, dude, your arms look so good in that shirt, bro. Just don't lie, you know, we all do it, we all said it. But clothes are weird. That's a tangent. But if they saw my boy Ray Dalio, if you took Ray Dalio and you took these Sentinelese people and you put them side by side, they are humans. But what makes you human? Is it biological? Like, what makes the species a species? Is it the biology they have? Is it the organs that make them up? Or is it the environment that they have? Or is it the cultures they have? Or is it the society that they have constructed? Which one is it? What makes you a species? Dogs are a species, right? All dogs are a species. But within domesticated dogs, you have so many different types. But what does that mean? What does that mean? They all pretty much have the same characteristics. Now, they have different colors, different sizes, different, I guess, predisposed characteristics and personalities that they might have, but they're all dogs, right? But they're all different dogs. Like a German Shepherd or like a Great Dane looks completely opposite of a Chihuahua, but they're both the same thing. They're both a dog, right? They're both a dog, and they can both have intercourse and produce an offspring. These people on the Sentinelese Island and my boy Ray Dalio are the same thing, but are they the same thing? I don't think so. I think if you took Ray Dalio and you put him all by yourself and you stripped all these people away from the island so they wouldn't kill him, because they would kill him, and you just put him on the island of... So the one time... So this island's only been discovered a few times. Well, not discovered. We all know it's there. But like has only been... People only have gone to it a few times. And every time they die. And they had this one doctor one time... let me look it up real quick. Explorer... to Sentinelese I-N-E Island. Meet the first woman to contract Sentinelese. There's his name. Maurice Vidal Portman spent 20 years in a sexualized heart of darkness. That's wild. Was a British Navy officer who is best known for his documentation and pacification of several Adamese tribes between. So I think he literally just... Yeah. Okay, I don't want to say it's like not true. I don't want to say something that's like completely outlandish, but I think he basically went there and he studied these gentlemen. He like tortured these gentlemen, and basically he like sexually exposed photographs. He like treated these islanders like science projects. He took their height, he took their sexual organs, and he looked at them, he measured them, he got these pictures of these people. And he almost like tried to make them, I think, Catholic or religious in some sort. Anyways, what I'm trying to say with that is, so yeah, of course they don't like these people in the same way that we have like horror stories about different animals that kill and like certain things that are dangerous and certain things that we don't like tyrannies and communism we don't like because we know that they can be bad, and we pass this down generation after generation after generation. The same thing is with these people. Like, don't trust these more or less white people. Don't trust these intruders. Xenophobia to the max. Like, don't trust these people. They're gonna hurt you, and that's what happened. So, I assume if my man Ray Dalio even went there, they would kill him immediately. But if you took Ray Dalio and you put him on an island with Sentinelese people, he wouldn't survive. Or if you remove the Sentinelese people, you just put him on an island, I don't think he would survive. I think he would die. If you took these Sentinelese people and put them in New York City, I think they would die. Maybe not physically, but I think the diseases would kill them. And it's almost like humans have already gotten to this point now, 20 minutes later, being the point, that humans have already like separated themselves into two completely different, very recognized civilizations and species, but like different. Just completely different. Not good, not bad, not negative, not positive, but just different. Within the same, we're all in Earth, but just completely different structures, different things. And it's like, where is that going to lead us? Where is that taking us? How far are you going to go? Like, what if... I mean, we all have an addiction to our technology. Understandable. Of course we have addiction to our technology. It has all the information we possibly need right there in front of our hands. But what is the next step? Virtual art autism. I'm looking up, there's something called technology-induced autism. So, and I'm about to say something here that I shouldn't make anyone mad because it's a real thing. What's the next step? People have a chemical release of anxiety and fear and happiness when this device made by Steve Jobs goes off, your iPhone. It vibrates, you check it. It vibrates, chemicals release in your head, and it keeps on doing it, and this is what's causing it, so it relates to each other. And this becomes part of, in the same way some people enjoy football. Football it releases certain chemicals that make you happy, make you feel good, make you enjoy the activity. Same thing that happens with iPhone, right? Yes, same thing happens with iPhone. So it's like, what is that? What is that leading us to? This is always a point I make, like, you have grandparents and parents who all have iPhones. Same people who told you that they would never move on from the flip phones. And you know what? These people were the first, they got the iPhones before you did because they had to test them, right? They had to test this technology. Test the technology. If they gave it to you. Don't use social media, it's bad for you. I hate how everyone uses social media. I hate how Donald Trump is always tweeting. I hate how all this CNN and Fox putting out this false advertisement, but they're putting it out through social media. Social media is the devil. Don't use social media. It's terrible. It's blinding you from the truth. But I'm going to tweet it out. I'm going to put it on Facebook. I'm going to put a picture out on Instagram with a comic picture of how bad the world is and how it's taking over people's mind. But I'm going to put it on social media because addicted to social media. I can't get away from social media. I remember growing up, my parents used to always tell me, don't get in strangers' cars. Because kids were getting stolen. Yeah, people go to a bus stop, hey, get in my car, and then next thing you know, you're in the woods and you're getting sold to some country. Probably child sex trafficking, which is huge, and that is not a good thing, and that is very bad, and the black market system is terrible, and it's so big. I think it's bigger than all the legal drugs, all the legal stuff being sold around the world. I think the black market, guns, humans, drugs, whatever it is, alcohol, whatever it could be. Aliens. Area 51. Aliens. Dude, if we did storm Area 51 like they're trying to do, the aliens would be hidden, right? The military would have already hidden the aliens, right? They wouldn't keep the aliens there. They would already hid them. Of course they would already hide them. Right? Common sense, I think. I don't know. I don't think they're that dumb. Like, they're already gone. If they were there. Plus, like, if you saw the aliens, I don't think it would make you feel fulfilled. Now, if it was so shocking, it was surprising. Because if you go in there, like, secrets are cool. But with secrets, when you say secret, I say secret. In the back of my head, I kind of have an expectation of what the secret is. So when I see the secret, I'm not super surprised. A surprise happens when you see something, or you do something, or you hear something that you had no expectation of. But if you storm Area 51 and you see an alien sitting there, you're like, oh, cool. You're shocked, you're happy, but you're not fulfilled because you expected it to be there. But if you walk in there and you see like a flying elephant with wings, but has fins of a shark and has teeth the size of a little anteater, or like a little moth, just really, really tiny, almost no teeth, just little fuzzy things, you would be like, what the fuck? But you wouldn't call it an alien because you recognize a creature. I would call an octopus an alien, right? If you took an octopus and you turn it green, that's an alien, right? That's what people always recognize aliens as. Like little green people, but like with little tentacles, but like 4 or 5. But that's an octopus, just remove a few. I digress. But this book is basically saying that, so we already have, like, we've already given ourselves to the technology. And you can say what you want. You can say, no, I haven't done that, no, they don't track me. Okay. Bullshit. A lot of people do credit card. They do all the big stuff on the internet. And it's so accepted nowadays, so when you get yourself hacked, you just delete it. You don't even try to figure out who did it. You just like, waste my time. I'm just going to delete it, blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, it could be a neighbor that have all your information, but they just keep hacking your shit, but you don't give a fuck because you don't want to waste your time. So you just keep on deleting everything, and you just, if you get hacked, you get a new one. If you lose your ID, you get a new one. And I just recently did that, so I'm a hypocrite. But what I'm saying is that we have Fitbits that literally track your health. They know your health. They know when you sleep well. They know when you don't sleep well. They know when your heart rate is up, so they know when you're working out, when you're not working out. They know if you're watching a scary movie, and if you don't get scared when you should be scared, then you're probably a sociopath. And they know these things about you. They know these things about you. Your phone watches you. You literally, to open your phone, you gotta look at it. I don't have that, but I will eventually. I'm not gonna say I won't, because I know I will eventually. Technology it knows you. And it has become part of you. And there's something called virtual autism. So some children have been diagnosed with autism or autistic spectrum disorder. ASD could dramatically benefit from not being exposed to electronic screens. The term or phenomenon is virtual autism induced by electronic screens. So if you already are autistic, if you're born autistic, which you don't exactly know what causes it 100%, at least I'm not in the place to talk about it because I don't know. It doesn't help. It's like technology's already slowly started taking us over in that sense. In a weird way, in a way that a lot of people don't want to admit, but it has. And I always make this comparison, like what I was saying before, is my parents told me never get in the car with somebody that he didn't know. But now, if you're late to work, you might call Uber to come pick up your daughter, pick up your son, to go to school. Do you know this person? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But they're part of a company. You trust that company. You trust the Silicon Valley technology company. Take your kid to work. And maybe the person is a good person. But maybe the wife had an argument with them the night before. Maybe the mom just died. Maybe the son just died. maybe they woke up, hit their head while they're sleeping, woke up, and they are now schizophrenic. You never know. You never know. You just never know. And then you trust this person. You trust this technology. I was never allowed to get in a car, but now I could go to Uber right now and be at my house in 5 minutes. It's crazy. We've given ourselves up to the technology. Technology is now becoming the human. The same way that cells make up organs make up a human body, which is an organism, little organs, little cells, little bacteria, make up a human. Humans make up tribes make up countries make up the world. Now, do people make up artificial intelligence that's above us, that has a collective idea of who we are? Who knows? I don't know. But I do know that humans have slowly, in my mind, already started dividing. So bad we can't even interact anymore. But I think we can. I think for the most part it's very beneficial. And I think religion is slowly taking a back burner. I think we're now turning certain ideologies into religion. It's a good thing, bad thing, I don't know. I have no idea. I really don't. I don't know. I'm always I'm always watching, I'm always seeing what's going on. We're about an hour and a half into this podcast now, so I'm going to start wrapping it up. And this is going to be the basis for all of the podcasts. If you guys didn't like this, don't watch the next one. If you did, like, comment, subscribe. If you want to, I'm going to try to get this video. I'm going to try to get 3-4 podcasts up a week. They're easy to do. Just need about 2 hours to just sit down and talk. Editing, I think, should be easy. I hope it's easy. Let me just cover a few more topics. Let me just refresh my Twitter feed. This is where I get all my news from. I don't tweet really that much anymore. I just kind of look at the news, or I just look at Twitter for all my news because I get it in a second. But the computer wasn't working. Let me pull up my phone real quick. If you guys are not watching this on YouTube, you can go ahead and I don't have a name for it. Fuck. I'll put it in the description. Look in the description box, or yeah, if you guys listen to this on a podcast, audio only, then I'm assuming you guys know the podcast. If you like it, leave it a good review. Comment. It helps the podcast grow. I really do enjoy doing these. I'm going to have a guest on hopefully soon, just in about the mic to come in. Also, we will be doing different segments. This thing will be growing, and I will constantly be stepping on the gas to keep it going and going and going and going. Which is very excited to do this. Follow me on my Twitter if you guys want to there. It's just Mike R. Lobes, Lobs. I have it Lobs just because. Oh, shout out to my brother, one of my friends, Cam King. I don't know if I should have said his last name, but just got accepted into college out of community college for La Crosse. Congratulations, dude. That's awesome. But yeah, follow me on Twitter, Mike R. Lobes. Instagram is Mike R. Labs, Labs. That's my real last name, Lobs. Labs. LOBS is when I graduated high school. That was my graduation name, LOBS, which is not my last name, but I wasn't angry about it. Not angry about it. Just happy about it, right? But YouTube is just Michael Labs. If you guys want to look me up there, MICHEL space LABS. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this podcast up. So if you guys enjoyed it, like I said, please leave a good review. Tell your friends about it. I'm looking forward to do these. I cannot wait to have a guest on, just talk, sit down. It's cool off my room finally. I have some shit I got to get done today. Hope you guys have a great Monday. Enjoy your week, and I will catch you guys in the latest episode. Peace out. Thank you.